Raining in light, anger. Anger. And just like most things, in order to get through it, we must grow through it. Let's take a walk through it. Anger will make you sick. Anger will slow you down. Anger will temporarily impair you. Anger hurts. Anger blocks. Anger lies. Anger destroys. Anger is sometimes necessary and, if used just right, can be a lesson. Yes, those unknown folks have said that anger is a secondary emotion. Anger usually follows fear. It follows a loss. It follows sadness. It follows hurt. It follows pain. These emotions leave us uncomfortable and vulnerable, and because we don't want to, or we don't like to feel this way, we become angry. Anger can be a great mask. Sometimes we don't even know that we're wearing anger. It just becomes a part of us. And sometimes through our subconscious, we become susceptible to wearing anger because of life events. We may have unresolved traumas, and sometimes from childhood. Sometimes trauma can be needs of ours that have not been met. We use anger to escape. We use anger to remember. We use anger to not feel anything else. With anger, we can hold ourselves in place. With anger, we can hold others in a certain place. Anger is sometimes loud. Anger is sometimes silent. Anger is sometimes a consequence to others and when they violated us. Anger can be deliberate and used in the aftermath of any wrongdoing to us and from and by others. Even with so many good reasons to become angry, the impact on our body, mind, and spirit are tremendous, and not positively when anger is held for too long. Anger is a response to stress, but it also causes stress. Anger is a response to irritation, but it also causes irritation. Anger is a response to annoyances and frustrations, but it also causes a deeper annoyance and a deeper frustration for us. Anger is a response to strain, to struggle, or to affliction. And again, when held for too long, we become strained by it. We struggle with it, and it afflicts our body. Shouldn't we be allowed to become angry? And for good reasons, like with those who disrupt good orders in life, like oppressors, dictators, transgressors, corruptors, and other inhuman individuals. Be reminded that while anger is thought and said to be a secondary emotion, it can also be thought of as a natural emotion and a sure sign that our mind is functioning properly. The problem with anger is how long we remain angry and the physical manifestations that it produces within us, like high blood pressure and an increased heart rate that sustains and begins to damage our arteries and restricts our blood flow to the vital organs like our brain. Anger, when held for too long, can cause headaches and stomach aches. It's been said that we are the only ones burned by our anger, And specifically, something like holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else, but we get burned instead. Anger is one letter short of danger. Understanding ourselves and through introspection will allow us to understand anger and the patience that we must gain for ourselves through it. If we practice patience, we can learn to move through everything, spiritually and mentally. The ultimate resort of anger is sometimes sorrow, but with patience we can be spared. Know that sorrow is a deep sadness. It hits at our core and is sometimes associated with regret. Regret no longer affects us in the ways that it did and because of our choice to grow. This can also be done with anger. We can make a choice to grow. In this life, growth through all emotions is what we want. The same way we want to grow through those seemingly negative emotions, we also want to grow through the ones that are perceived to be positive. We can allow our emotions to give us strength, or we can allow them to weaken us. Choosing to grow in life is one of the best decisions that we can make for ourselves. This choice is accepting of what was. It's accepting of what is, and it is accepting of what will be. Let's grow. Deep breaths in, slow breaths out. Breathing is a sure way to grow. With every breath in and out, we know that we are growing, we can feel it. And because we've chosen to breathe, we are denying negative energy the opportunity to take a seat. Deep breaths in, slow breaths out. Gently close our eyes. At this time, let's clear out the storage within us. Breathe in and out. We'll clear out all of the areas where anger hides. We'll clear out all of the spaces and places that we store it in. Breathe in and out. We can feel the anger leaving. Anger is uninvited. We'll continue breathing and release all of the emotions that are associated with anger, including repression. Deep breaths in, slow breaths out. Anger is no longer a guest, and for some of us, anger has worn out its welcome. Relax your body. Breathe. Imagine water running all over our bodies, rinsing us and calming us from past anger and any anger that may come. Deep breaths in, slow breaths out. We'll use our hands to touch our face and caress it. Anger attempts to move us, it tries to change us, and we sometimes forget that we are so much more. We are alive, we are human and worthy of good things, like that of touch. Deep breaths in, slow breaths out. When you're ready, gently envision your eyes when they are happy. Envision your eyes when they're sad. Envision your eyes when they're mad. Breathe. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Anger is a ride. There's the build up to it and the melt away from it. The building of it can be as tall as a skyscraper, while the meltdown can leave us as flat as a pat of butter dropped into a hot skillet. In other words, there's the escalation of anger, the explosion of anger, and know that this may look different for each individual. And then there's the post-explosion. Note that while anger may look different for each person, it is predictable in nature, and so much so that a general synopsis can be drawn from the very beginning to the very end. There are levels to anger, and following our look inward, we will have the ability to catch it before it starts. We can then check it or ask ourselves, is it worth it? and then we can change it. Yes, we have the ability to change the course of every emotion that we experience. Back to those levels of anger. It is said that blind rage is the highest level of anger. If we've ever been angry or we've observed others in moments of anger, we can note the loss of senses. We lose the ability to see, which is why putting things into perspective become a challenge. It's clear that you cannot hear, which is why shouting takes over and most of what is said is misunderstood. As with all things, if we can memorize how we look during the moment, we can use it to fight through the next time we experience that emotion. We will be able to force ourselves to walk away from the situation altogether. And we're talking about anger here. Anger is usually not a good look when we allow it to carry us away. At this time, we can be reminded to allow anger to serve its purpose and then move from us. We can get angry when it's warranted. We can even shout, we can scream, we can stomp our feet and all, but we must beware of the scene and what we want to leave there. We must ask ourselves if it's better to have a fit in private or with a trusted loved one or go all out in public. Be reminded of how all energy carries and moves from person to person. Wouldn't it be nice if we could think about our impact on the world around us each time we feel ourselves having less than joy to give? We're learning about ourselves. We're coming to understand ourselves. So understand our power, understand our strength, understand choices that we have in all moments, understand our hurt, understand our pain, understand our weaknesses. And more than anything, understand our joys, understand our blessings, and understand our gifts. Allow the latter to overshadow all sorrow and resentment. So, here are a few parting words. Let us not run from anger. It will catch up to us. Brace ourselves with grace as it takes its course. Brace with grace. Breathe through every moment of it. Be gentle with ourselves and be kind with others. Raise the bar and challenge what we put out versus what we get in return. Try not to be disappointed if it's not what we expected. People may let us down, and even if that isn't their choice or their plan, no longer will we let ourselves down. We will remember that our words must heal. We will remember that our words must not hurt. Heal, not hurt. We will no longer fight against ourselves. We will fight for ourselves. We will fight for our peace, weaponized by our spirit. We will fight with raining and light.